Hello, class. I'm back. I'm wondering if any of you even still remember who I am. Well, Mr. Wible is posting one final video for our psychology course just to wrap up the school year, even though it's pretty much wrapped up now. And with this video, I wanted to do just a few things, three things really. Number one, I wanted to give you an apology. Number two, I wanted to leave you with a positive message about how the 9 weeks went, about how our class went. And number three, I just wanted to maybe reiterate one or two things that were important lessons that I hope you got out of the course. So let's start with the apology. Number one, I wanted to apologize for not really being around that much the last couple weeks as I had been in the first weeks of our online instruction. With the craziness that's going on with the pandemic and the school shut down and everything like that, you can see I haven't even been shaving. I haven't got a haircut in months now. So this is the Mr. Wible you get now. But really the real issue is, if I give you a quick look, is that I've really, I don't know if I even mentioned to your class or not, that I had a pretty serious knee injury. And so, as you can see, I haven't been doing a whole lot of anything other than just sitting on a couch here. Can't walk, can't put weight on it, can't bend my knee. And that really did put a hindering on how much time I could even sit at my desk and make videos and work on my computer. And so that's unfortunately why you haven't seen as much of me since my injury. Good news is that I did get the surgery finally, and I'm on the road to recovery. And hopefully those of you that will be around next year, or by the time school starts, whatever that'll mean, hopefully I'll be back to normal and I'll be walking and everything. We'll see how that goes. So that's it. Everything went fine with that, but I do apologize. I know that it just wasn't the ideal situation on any level. And then whenever I had the injury and the surgery, it really made it even less ideal. So I apologize for that. Number two, I wanted to leave you with a positive message concerning the way the 9 weeks went. I really have to say, and this is what I've been telling people that have asked me about it, how did school go, and people that aren't teachers or people that have their own kids in school and they were dealing with it as parents. And what I've been telling them is how positive an experience it ended up being for me. It obviously was not the ideal situation. I really miss seeing you guys every day, and of course would have loved to have just been in class face to face like normal. But given all the crazy circumstances, the experience I ended up having was very positive. For me personally, number one, it gave me an opportunity to do some things I'd never done before, to learn a few new ways to deliver material, new ways to use the technology, things that I probably would have never ventured into learning and figuring out if this hadn't happened. So that was good. And I think a lot of it will be things that I can use now in the future and moving forward. So that's positive for me. But more than that, I have to express to you how proud I was of the positive response that I got from you guys. I really cannot believe the amount of engagement that I got. It was really from almost every single one of you. It was almost 100% engagement, and that's a credit to you guys as well. The one silver lining, I guess, one of the things that I'm always pushing with you guys is that trying to push you to get a hold of that intrinsic desire to do what we do at school, rather than having to be motivated by your teachers or your parents getting on you, or you're worried about the grade or this or that. It's really about you getting smarter, stronger, more powerful, and learning as much as you can. And this really put you in a position where you had to kind of attack it that way. And it was up to you to get as much out of it as you could individually, doing things on your own. Of course, I'd like to think I was giving you some guidance, but for the most part, it was very self-directed, and I can't be more proud of how well you guys did under those circumstances. So to me, it was while it wasn't the ideal situation, it was a very positive experience. So I wanted you to know that I felt that way. And then finally, the third thing I wanted to do was to reiterate, I suppose, one of the main lessons or major lessons that we covered this 9 weeks. And I wanted to reiterate it in terms of its connection to these crazy times that we're experiencing right now. Obviously, the way this whole thing unfolded was because of the the virus and the pandemic that we're now kind of, knee deep in. But even since then, in the last 2 weeks, all of the crazy things that have unfolded in our country in the middle of the pandemic, with all of this social unrest and these racial issues that are going on with our country. And believe me, I would have liked nothing more than to have been seeing you all face to face and having discussions and conversations about it if we could be in school together, and we never really had that opportunity. But I wanted to at least connect what we're all dealing with individually, in a community, as a country, as a nation. I wanted to at least make some connection to one of the things that we learned this year, and that is a lot of things about stress and health. One of the chapters that we covered, and like I said earlier, one of the things that you guys had to do mostly on your own was all this stuff about stress and health and how it affects us. I hope that you were able to learn as much as possible out of that chapter and out of the things that we did do with stress and health in a way that maybe in these stressful times that we're all dealing with right now, these crazy stressful times, maybe take some things from what we learned and use them positively. And in fact, that's the word that I stressed over and over. That's sort of the theme through that whole unit on stress and health. The importance of trying to see the positive side of stress. Well, guess what? We're learning one of the things that I wrote in your notes in that chapter right now. There is no way that you can go through life without having stressful situations. And right now, unfortunately, we're seeing, the extreme version of that. This is a stress that has been put on us, and now two stresses between the virus and the social issues. It's been put on our whole entire population. And so, of course, that's a little bit more extreme than just the daily stressors that individuals all face. But there is some positives that can be derived from what we're dealing with now. This is very stressful, but you want to find ways to embrace what's going on, find ways to deal with it individually, daily, in your own life. But also it's a reminder of, some of the expectations that we have as American citizens. Being an American citizen is actually a very challenging endeavor, and it can be very stressful. And so you want to embrace this opportunity to try to learn from this and maybe learn a little bit about, ways to live your own life, ways to treat other people, ways to fight and work to make our community, our state, our entire country, a better place tomorrow than it was yesterday, or a better place 10 years from now than it was 20 years ago, and so on and so forth. So I at least wanted to make some connection between those things that we learn in class and what's going on. But for the most part, as has been the case for the whole 9 weeks, you're going to have to make a lot of those connections on your own. So just to reiterate, number one, I apologize for sort of falling off the grid and disappearing a little bit and not seeing you as much as I had at the beginning of this. Number two, I wanted to express to you again how positive an experience I ended up having through all of this. And number three, I just wanted to remind you that, part of what this whole thing with school is and taking these courses and learning these things is, it's not about learning it that day and then being done with it as you move on. It's about taking those things with you as you go through new experiences. And that's kind of what I hope you got out of this class. And with that, I am going to say two more things. One, some of you have graduated. I understand that. You may not even be ever seeing this because you might be done. Those of you who have not graduated, hopefully I'll see you next year at some point. Regardless of either of those scenarios, you are still my students, and I'm still your teacher, and that'll always be the case no matter what. So if you ever need anything from me, you can reach out, send me an email, stop in, whatever. If you have questions, things I can help you with, do not hesitate to get in touch with me. And secondly, happy summer, and I'll see you next time. Bye.